Welcome to the show. This is Triforce. I am Wisdom.
I am Power.
And I'm Courage.
Nice. We're talking about MLG today because Courage and I were able to go to MLG last weekend, Major League Games in Anaheim, the Spring Championship, and watched some League of Legends, some StarCraft 2, played some StarCraft 2, the expansion, what is that called? Totally.
Power was off taking over Hyrule.
Yeah, when he was watching it too. The new StarCraft expansion was fun, and there was also another fighting game there that nobody cared about. Really, nobody cared about it.
Yeah, something to do with Mortal Kombat, I think. I don't know.
Nobody cared about it, huh?
Exactly.
Except for like
I only knew that.
You don't
I only knew that StarCraft. I only knew that StarCraft 2 and League of Legends was going to be there. So.
Hence, nobody cared about it.
Exactly.
If I don't care about it, nobody cares about it.
We did end up watching about 5 minutes of it. We watched a couple of guys in the open bracket of the fighting game, and it was Mortal Kombat at the time. And one guy was trying to use a PS3 controller versus the guy with a fight stick, an actual fight stick on his lap. They have all they bring their own arcade things and put them on their laps and go crazy. And it was it was bad. The guy with the PS3 controller got rocked.
I'm sure he did.
He was shaking, dude. Like, he didn't verbally shout or anything, but he was shaking. You could see how pissed he was. It was
all
hilarious.
The players were very good-mannered. But you could see when they were raging internally. It was funny. It was. Yeah,
well, it's worse. It's worse in a team game like League of Legends, where you have to really rely on the other people. Of course, this isn't like, just a bunch of guys getting together and doing this. These are usually teams that have played over a long period of time and are pretty damn good at it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so you couldn't really see into the boxes very much. And so when somebody would fail, you just know how they were reacting. Like when somebody gave up first blood in League of Legends, so the team solo mid, the rest of them were like, "What are you doing, you noobs?" Or something. You could tell how they were reacting.
If you watch the live stream online like I did, because you didn't get a chance to go because somebody filled up their car and invited you after they did that, and you didn't get to go. If that happened to you, like me, then yeah, definitely you got to check out the link up they did for the audio, and you got to listen to what they were having to say during their conversations.
They did that a couple of times, but each time they did it at the at MLG, it was F-bombs everywhere, and they're like, "Oh crap!" And somebody was scrambling to turn it off.
Yeah,
it was
so funny. It was I think my favorite one was the I think it was the Dignitas and TSM battle, their first one.
Yeah,
it was disgusting.
Yeah, it was great, but at the beginning of it, you probably missed this. They did the audio link up, and they picked, I can't remember, they had some pick, and they left Kale open. And so it was Kennen, Vladimir, and they picked Kale top. And so they just started singing Happy Birthday to Dyrus. They're like, Happy Birthday to Dyrus, Happy Birthday to... It was hilarious because they counterpicked whoever was in that lane. I think it was a Shen or an Irelia or something.
That Kale was mean.
And they just counterpicked the crap out of themselves. Kale just kept them so far away from the lane, and Dyrus just destroyed them. It was so funny to hear their act. I was like the only one they didn't shut off early. And they're just saying Happy Birthday to him. You think that they'd be talking about some super awesome strategy? No, just singing Happy Birthday to one guy on their team.
They're just normal players having fun, doing their thing, raging at each other.
Guys.
Like, what do you expect when you're Riot and you set up this? Let's listen into their voice chat, and then you hear F-bombs everywhere, and you cut out of it.
Yeah.
What do you think is going to happen?
Yeah, that's not something that you broadcast over any public television, any cable, nothing like that. I mean, over the web, yeah, just fine.
Well, people are doing, yeah.
Yeah, but they still cut it out for us, so I didn't understand. I was like, it's online. I mean, it's not like you have to have it's not like an M rating on this, but seriously, how many dudes that are watching this are 13 years old? Like, really?
And how many
not very
many
really
care?
Most of them are like 35-year-olds and single still, and
I think it's mostly 20-year-old males. Honestly, it's like college kids. Most of us are, at least. I mean, I'm 25.
Yep. The interesting thing that you bring that up, being the college kids and stuff like that, we had a bet going into the convention, how many women would be there, and I won. Just saying.
How did you win?
Well, at least 80 or over, because they're like, oh, there's gonna be like 5 there. I'm like, no way, dude. There's gonna be more than that.
So you picked the high number.
Yeah, I picked the high number.
Oh wow.
There were women everywhere. Yeah, there was a lot more than that. There's at least a couple hundred.
There's hundreds of women there. There's so many women.
It was funny. On Friday and Saturday, there was one girl there dressed up as Valentine Vane, and she had a good costume. It was good, but there wasn't a whole lot of cosplay.
The most important question we need to know about this was she hot?
Not necessarily hot. She looked good, but I don't think she was hot.
Power, you would have said hot.
I don't know about this.
I don't know.
I think
he has
so.
some high standards. Anyway.
Thank you.
No,
Appreciate
I didn't
that.
say you didn't have high standards.
You said he had high standards. That's implying that because I said she was hot. You said he had high standards. That implies that I don't have good standards. Come on.
You didn't marry the vain chick. If you had married the vain chick, then there's the implication. But on Sunday...
That's true, but I'm still a judge on hot. What's hot and what's not.
Facepalm.
Facepalm.
That's awesome.
Facepalm.
Oh. But anyway,
What now?
The rest of the cosplayers that showed up on Sunday were actually pretty good. There was a Dr. Shen, which was really easy for him. He wore
I'm sure that was pretty simple.
Scrubs and some
that he
foam
stole
swords.
from the hospital during his short time getting stitches. I'm sure.
And then there was an actual Shen, and then what really impressed me was a Darius. He had it looked like big, massive paper mache armor. It was legitimate.
It was cool.
It was huge, and he had a massive axe that was about as tall as he was, and he was walking around and stuff. And he looked
a cape.
good.
Don't forget the cape.
He did the cape.
Don't forget.
I mean, he pulled off Darius really well.
Yeah,
well, that's cool, man. I didn't expect there to be a lot of dressing up for that kind of thing.
No, there really isn't. I mean, it's a pro gaming event. It's not necessarily like BlizzCon or Comic-Con or PAX. You'd see that at PAX and even E3. Not so much at MLG.
E3.
Yeah, not so much. More at the booths at E3, less the people going to E3.
Right.
But we saw a few, and they were good. They were pretty good. It was good to see. They got, and it was only League of Legends.
So you liked but you guys liked being in the crowd at MLG, right?
Oh, it was
awesome. It was great, dude. It was so nice to look around and see people like me. I'm like, wow, I fit in here. Yeah, I was like, wow, I fit in here. I've never fit into any crowd but that one. Like,
they made you feel a little awkward at times, though, because of the extreme nerdiness and how much they knew about particularly StarCraft and League of Legends.
But some of them were super cool, even though they knew a lot more than you did. They were like... Because I would tell them, look, dude, I'm a noob. And they're like, oh, no, that's cool, man, but it's still awesome, isn't it? I'm like, yeah. So, and then some of them were just douches, you know?
I like how you introduced yourself as a noob. I think that's interesting.
Yeah, totally. Well, no. Well, I did that mostly with this kid that I met who was a Halo player, and I was talking about the MLG competition coming up in Columbus, Ohio in November. They're going to be playing Halo 4. Anyway, so I was like, I'm excited for that one. I'm like, yeah, I'm a total noob, but here's my gamer tag, and he sent me a friend request before I even got home. It was awesome. Kid was cool.
You know, it's funny because if you watch the live stream where the cameras are, everybody has like their names on giant posters. You know, it's like, friend me. I'm just like.
Well, they had these pull out. They look like scrolls, and they were like springy, and so people and they had like one side was MLG stuff. And then the other side was just like a whiteboard, and I'm making you yawn. And anyway, it was like they would write all these random stuff, and I know you can't win. It's all right. Sorry. So they'd write all this random stuff, and it'd get on the camera, and it was just funny.
So you think it's random stuff, but like being involved in the game, it's all references to the game and to the players.
Yeah. Again,
so, like,
it goes back to me being a noob.
But it's all referencing to different things, and it was funny. There was some. So the Kespa Invitational, which was an exhibition match on Saturday, was my favorite part of MLG, and some of these signs were great. Flash is a StarCraft. Flash won hands down the Kespa Invitational. He went undefeated 6-0, and
oh wow,
he was
that's
amazing.
Impressive.
Yeah, dude, he was amazing.
He was amazing.
Like,
it was incredible.
You've never seen a guy play like this. Like total. Just ballsy player, but very much ahead.
Korean.
No, Korean.
So I figured.
Yep, they were all South Korean because it's a Korean StarCraft league, Brood War specifically league, and he was considered the best at Brood War for a little while. They all were at one point or another. Some of them were, and he was.
Yeah, but they introduced him as the best Brood War player ever, so you knew he was serious.
That's some high praise.
Yeah,
with StarCraft, yeah, and
with any game.
That's true. That's true.
If you're the best at Minecraft, at least, or something. I mean, somebody still recognizes you. Like, yeah, that Armau guy, he's the best I've ever seen. He creates stuff that I would have never done.
And there's this meme about Flash that he's like this. He's this overconfident, really good player. Like there's a meme with League of Legends, like, and he's sitting there, and the meme goes, "I played League of Legends once. The other guy controlling the other 5 players was pretty good, but I still beat him," implying that he controlled all the characters. He won his first match with half of his keyboard not working. It glitched somehow, and half of the buttons weren't working. I don't know how that happens.
Yeah.
But
and then they joked. Working. Then they joked also that he wasn't even using a monitor. So everybody busted up laughing. It was hilarious. They're like, yeah, funny. Half his keyboard was busted, and he wasn't even using a monitor, and he still won.
And then a bunch of Good Guy Flash memes came up, and they held them up on their iPads. People made them real fast, and it says, Good Guy Flash tries to help you out and doesn't use half his keyboard or something like that. You know, it's like, nerf his keyboard. Half the keyboard is too OP for Flash. It was good.
It was
and so those signs were a lot of fun. There was a little bit of banter back and forth between StarCraft and League of Legends because they were right next to each other. People would walk by.
I saw some of the League of Legends signs are pretty funny too. One guy says, "First pick mid Eve mid insta lock." I laughed my face off. I was like, "That's pretty funny." If you plan on trolling a game, that's pretty much the best way to do it. So.
Oh, I would love to see that at a pro level game. That would be hilarious.
Somebody actually picked Eve as a joke, but like they didn't lock in. They just they picked her up, and everybody just started cheering like really loudly. It was just really funny. I saw that from the crowd. It was hilarious.
What was so much fun about being there in the crowd was the cheering. Whenever there was a good play by either side, I mean, people were rooting for whatever players or teams that they wanted to win, but whenever either side did a good play, everyone cheered, and it was a lot of times it was really loud. Like
it was
Alicia,
cool.
The Korean player Alicia, who took second in the StarCraft finals, he beat Marine King Prime in the semifinals, and he did this amazing thing. He had the stealth units, the Ghosts. No, sorry, he was Protoss, Dark Templar, and he blocked Marine King's expansion from landing, the command center from landing, three times in a row. He moved it because he didn't use a scan or whatever. Marine King, I don't know, just didn't do it, and he delayed that command center from landing 3 times, and he just kept moving around, and the crowd went crazy. It was the funniest thing in StarCraft that happened the whole weekend, and it was amazing. It was so awesome. And so
there were times that. Go ahead.
Okay, it was just I was just gonna say the crowd there was so much fun. It was a lot of fun.
It looks like a lot of fun.
That made it for me.
We actually learned that it was better for us to stick in between, like stand in the aisle between League of Legends and StarCraft 2, so like we could see everything that was going on. Because if you were sitting in one place or another, it just was kind of hard because you get caught up with you got caught up with the crowd and cheering for StarCraft, and then you'd look over and I don't know, it's just crazy stuff.
So are we going to say that professional gaming events are actually entertaining?
Yes, they are very much so.
There's some things they need to change for the players and for the spectators. Maybe more for the players, but I think it's a lot of fun. I had a blast there. First off, for the players, the first day for League of Legends, MLG was not allowing bathroom breaks between matches within a set of 3.
Yeah, it was just nuts.
Yeah, one of the guys from SoloMid was talking about that on Reddit the other day, and he's like, "There's some things that really need to change. Sound issues. I think it was CLG EU, the European CLG had sound issues in one of their games that they lost. They couldn't hear each other. Their microphones weren't working, whatever, and they eventually had to go to Skype, which is slightly delayed from what they were using. And he thinks they could have done better. They might not have won, but it hurt them compared to the other team that had their headsets working. And so there were some technical issues, which there are always going to be. But like the bathroom break thing, that was insane.
Yeah,
that was ridiculous. And Idra, a StarCraft 2 player, he was talking about the fact that I didn't know this, but they had scheduled 2 different pro-level competitions, tournaments at the same weekend. I think it was WCS and MLG were played at the same time. No communication between the two, and the administrators, the moderators, officials, whatever you want to call them, they didn't know enough to be able to tell the players when they were going to play so that they could plan out their games and they could plan together, and they were running back and forth just playing crazy stuff. The schedule for MLG never worked the whole weekend, so we never really knew who was playing when. It was just, oh, look, hey, this guy's up playing now. Let's go watch Marine King, or let's go watch.
You know what's so funny is it's the same. It was the same thing from watching it online. There was no real schedule.
No,
told you when, like the grand final was, but that was about it. They told you 3 starting times, and there were 4 different streams.
Yeah.
So it wasn't like this game is at this time, this other game is at the same time, but it's on stream 2. Like it just is a total cluster. Like it didn't make.
Yep.
Didn't make any sense, at
it
least
was
from the standpoint of watching it at home.
It was like they just planned. It was just like they planned the Korean games, and then that was it. Everything else was kind of like thrown together.
I think that's why I like Kespo the best, because it was very well organized, incredibly well organized. But of course, they had 8 players or something. You know, they didn't have as many players. Yeah. With this, it looks like they just said, okay, we have all these players. Let's line them up. Let's figure out the lineup the day before the show, and then we'll see what happens. And because I understand there will be delays, you can't say the game. You have like an average length for all the games, so you don't know exactly how long the games are going to go. But you should know this is the starting bracket. So here is the starting bracket. Here's when these people are all going to start. Here's when the day starts. And here's all the people playing. And then after that, it should just be really easy to fill in the winners and the losers in the bracket. But they never did that.
Well, they never planned bathroom breaks for the player, so why would they plan other things? You know what I'm saying? They should have had a schedule for us. They should have had a schedule for us so we could know, look, hey, I'm not going to miss StarCraft 2 if I go back to the hotel and have lunch. That was kind of...
Even for the players only knew sometimes, you know, minutes ahead of what they were doing. An hour and a half is nice, but that was the general time that they knew when they were going to play, and you're like, wait a minute. They have to go home and eat. They have to go back to the hotel and eat and sleep and prepare, and you're only going to tell them like an hour in advance when they're playing a really big game?
Well, it's because they had so many teams, at least in the LOL, in the League of Legends community. And if you look at how many teams there actually were, and there were tons.
There were a bunch.
So many teams. You know, I think there was like, what, 25, 29 teams?
And that's a lot of people to coordinate with. You know, five.
Well, it turned out to be like that because it turned out to be like 29 matches because so many people got to buy and they had to work out that whole schedule out.
Yeah.
But it goes back more to the question of, should there be a governing body kind of over all gaming, or at least the esports in general, that kind of says like how this thing should be run? You know, what are the top prizes? I mean, like kind of like how the NBA, or you'd say,
there's got to be.
There's got to be. Should be. It'd be hard, at least it'd be a little difficult to set up initially, but I think it would take hold if MLG or IPL took advantage and took the lead and did that. But there should be at the very least an accepted standard that everybody follows. This is how we do these games. This is how it's all set up. Everybody follows this standard. Basically, if you go from tournament to tournament, it's pretty different, and you have to learn each tournament, each organization's way of doing things.
You organize for success, and that goes right along with my opinion that, I mean, I really did enjoy the other festivities, but I really thought there could have been more. I mean, there were only like 3 or 4 booths, and there was hardly anything that were interesting, and there was hardly anything else to do that way. You know, I don't know. There should have been more people, in my opinion, a part of MLG, like calling people over to other spots, going, hey, take a look at this. We got this going on, and this is going on at this time. Check out the leaderboards, when you're not in between. You know what I mean? I know you want to make it free-spirited and you want to make it, like, chill for gamers, but you can do that still and still promote other things without being annoying.
Yeah.
What's interesting is that there's so many things that went on that same weekend. I mean, E3 was going on that weekend. I mean, couldn't you have combined some of these things? Like, I mean, I'm not saying that you combined with MLG, but I mean, you have like the.
I think that would be cool.
They seem like separate. They seem like separate entities, and that's fine.
Well, they are.
But like I'm saying, they seem so far away from each other. IPL is its own tournament. Yep. MLG is its own tournament. You have all these European tournaments. In Kyiv, and the grand finals there, and all these teams traveling all over the world to go do this stuff. It just seems to me like there should be a world circuit. Yeah. There should be somebody looking over. Yeah, there should be someone looking over this kind of thing to kind of group them all together, especially when it comes to like things like E3. I know Microsoft, Nintendo, and PlayStation all want to have their hand in the cookie jar, but I mean there's so many other things that their gaming could contribute to. I mean, how many gamers just play just one game?
Yeah,
it's only the pro gamers. It's really only the pro gamers that just play one game, and they still go off and do other things for fun.
Yeah, like most people I play, most people I play with the computer games with, 90% of them either play, Diablo 3, or they play, or League of Legends, or they play World of Warcraft. They play something besides, just this one thing.
Yeah.
Well, it just comes down to they need to make more choices for us, and they need to kind of combine a little bit. I mean, I would love to see, like, what better way to advertise your game than to have a tournament on it. I mean, you could just have a little tourney within E3, or you could have a hall that has the StarCraft 2 and League of Legends and go, you know, here's our new expansion. I mean, I thought Blizzard did a great job of advertising for this tournament, but I think
part of the swarm,
you're right.
That's what the
you're
expansion
right.
is. Sorry.
Oh, sorry. Well, yeah. They could have done a better job, like you said, combining some things so that they gave us more options, more entertainment, and that we could keep up with several different things and hit those games like you're talking about, and kind of, you know, appeal more to our several gaming needs instead of just one game.
Right, and it's kind of hard to make a trip. It's just a trip just to go see, you know, 1 or 2 games, you know, or you know, 1 or 2 different games. But especially like when E3's around, I'm like, you could have had like them in the kind of the same vicinity. That way, like, gaming sort of seemed like, hey, you know, like if you buy a past MLG, you can get one to go over there for like $5 more. You know, like
it's just like going to Disneyland and then being able to go to California Adventure. You know,
that's what
you got to do. You got to make it the Disneyland. You got to make it a real convention, like a multi-convention, not just one single thing. I totally agree with that, dude. That would be so awesome.
MLG Anaheim is so close to Disneyland anyway. They should have like an MLG Park Hopper pass. That would be awesome.
They should.
There you go, dude. Yeah.
They should have League of Legends or like a, you know, like a gaming weekend at Disneyland. I think that'd be funny. It'd be kind of interesting to see who would go.
It'd be awesome.
You know, you mentioned about an organization trying to standardize the gaming. I think Riot is doing a pretty good job with that because they try to take an active hand in all of the major tournaments as much as possible. They send their own employees out to announce it.
Their employees need to be changed out with different personnel.
Thank you. Thank you. Yes. I like that Riot takes an active hand, but maybe it's a little too much of a heavy hand. I don't know.
It's too much of a hand. To me, it's too much. Yeah, I mean, you can have your game designers come out and talk about, you know, the different teams and, like, you know, the way people play, but it really kind of feels awkward to me to listen to, like, Freak and, you know, all these other guys that are on there. I'd say Freak is the main one because he does all the Summoner videos. He does pretty much all the new ones that come out. Yeah, it's kind of getting annoying. You know, like, I know he's kind of an ambassador for the game now, but at the same time, it's kind of annoying to keep hearing about his opinions. Of
There's no opportunity for independent announcers or casters for League of Legends. You see how many different casters Blizzard are allowing with StarCraft, and that's
those
pretty
guys
cool.
got
Blizzard
famous,
just sat back.
But those guys got famous of their own doing. You know, they just casted games because they knew a lot about the game, and then that's how they roll.
That's how they roll. Yeah, and that's really good, and I like that about Blizzard. Also, another thing I like about Blizzard, they were all there in plain clothes. Courage and I were walking around. We met Jordan Womack, one of the producers.
Oh yeah,
and he was so cool.
Man.
Yeah, oh yeah. We just sat there and talked to him.
He was a regular dude, and it was so nice.
He's a big name in gaming, that's for sure.
Yeah. He was actually sitting there. He wasn't even
email
watching.
me anytime.
Yeah, he gave us our card, told him to email him. It was really a great conversation. We went up first because he was watching a Starhawk preview, which, by the way, Starhawk is really cool. I played a bit of it there. Awesome. Yeah. I wanted to see what it was, and I just walked up next to him. He was the only one sitting in this bit of seats, and he was like, you know, he was pretty far away from StarCraft. He's like, I've had enough of StarCraft. No, he talked to us about StarCraft, but he just was sitting there enjoying himself, watching some Starhawk. And we just started talking to him about it. And then it evolved into who he was and what he was doing, and asked us our opinions about StarCraft and stuff. And
he's a ninja, I'll just tell you that.
Holy cow, he's good at inserting what he wants to talk about into the conversation.
He drew us in. He totally drew us in. He's like, yeah, you know, like just like another gamer. I mean, he is, but he was like, hey, do you ever do any casting for StarCraft 2? And we're like, not really, not yet. It's not that we don't like to. And he goes, well, I was kind of reverse probing you. And he's like, bam, pulls out the card, just lays it on us. It was just funny, you know. It came out of left field. I didn't expect it. It was neat. It was interesting.
Well, I think you guys are helping get our name out there.
Oh yeah, I took a bunch of cards for Triforce out there and gave them out to people. I gave Jordan Womack one, and he was at least polite with it.
That's nice
and put it in his wallet.
We're like, look, we're babies in the business. We're trying to break through, but you know, we love it. And he's like, well, just email me anytime. So I assume that's like, hey, do you think this sucks or not? Kind of an email or something like that. I don't know. Anyway, he was
really cool about the Blizzard employees. We saw a number of them that we could recognize just hanging out with their family, sitting in the front row watching the games, or just walking around. And if you
or
don't
like
really know
Maximus
what to look
Black.
for, Yes.
Like Maximus Black. We met him.
Bicyclet
He was
TV.
totally chill. He was like, yeah, it's so cool to meet you guys, man. We're like, you're awesome. And he's like, oh, thanks so much. Like, totally not even cocky about anything. Just a humble, fun guy.
That's awesome.
He was a lot of fun to talk to. I talked to him a couple of times, and it was great. He was actually the only guy I wanted to meet there. And he was a lot easier to meet than, like, Day 9, for example.
Yeah, I'm sure that guy was mobbed.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. Well, one of the guys with us, he tried to meet Day 9 like twice, and the first time got shut out, and the second time he's like, I'm not leaving Anaheim. We couldn't even leave. He wouldn't let us leave to come back home until he met Day 9, and he was like halfway in the line, and they're like, no, I'm sorry, we're not doing this anymore, and he was just so
a little
bummed,
bummed,
man. Yeah.
But it worked out. It was okay.
Oh, Day 9's the highest profile StarCraft 2
caster,
vlogger, whatever you want to call it. That guy knows everything. Like seriously, I've seen that guy do so many different builds, like on so many different things. He's so smart. He's a high ranked, like ELO wise. He's such a high ranking, guy, diamond player, in StarCraft 2. I imagine he's pretty hard to get to talk to.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah. People know him, and they
rockstar status.
It was fun.
Yeah.
There was a lot of the booths that they did have there. I enjoyed, particularly the PlayStation booths where I got to play Starhawk. I got to play a PS Vita. They let you rent a PS Vita for like the whole day if you wanted. Just walk around with it. It was really good advertising because you just walk around with a PS Vita.
It wasn't even rent. It was like, give us your ID and you can borrow it.
Yeah.
We even made like I was filming and making a video on the Vita while I was playing. It's cool. They have a feature you can do where you can have like a 4-party chat. It's a little app they put on the PlayStation, and there's a little camera right up by the right-hand joystick, and so it can film all your reactions and stuff of you playing against your buddies, and it'll record your voice too. It was just really cool.
Awesome.
Like, yeah, I wish they had controllers like that for the Xbox or for other things,
We'll see.
I mean, I know they have them for PC, but yeah, we'll see. Yeah.
Things are changing on the Xbox.
Yeah, and Microsoft Xbox had a really small presence there, really. On it, I saw very few Halo games, mostly PlayStation. At the Dr. Pepper booth, they're giving out free Dr. Pepper, and they were letting you play games. It was mostly PlayStation games, and I got to plug the MLG controllers. I hate the PlayStation controller. They made the PlayStation controller actually comfortable. The MLG Pro controllers, It was amazing. It just felt great in my hands and easy to use. I hate the PlayStation controller.
It's what the PlayStation controller was always meant to be, like a cross between the 360 controller and just way nice, like very sensitive joysticks. It was easy. We picked it up, both me and Wisdom picked up the controllers and took right to a video game. There was no easing. There was no, this is awkward. It was just natural. It was wonderful.
It was cool.
It's not funny, all the stuff they use is such high quality. I mean, you want to talk about gaming mouses, gaming glasses. They have so much stuff like that out now.
Yeah.
The pros really do use the best stuff available. It's crazy how awesome that stuff is.
You got to use the best to be the best.
Any edge you can get, because like we said with the fighting game where we watched it for a couple of minutes, the guy with the fight stick just murdered. He murdered compared to.
Well,
when the guy was competent. Yeah.
When you can have one of each digit on your hand on a button for all of your attack moves, why wouldn't you be good?
Right.
I mean, it's just logical.
Yeah, you're just faster and stuff. So it was a lot of fun. I liked the booths there. I got to play with the Xperia Play. That was a great phone.
We saw your girlfriend there. Power.
Oh, my girlfriend.
Yes,
Which
Sarah
girlfriend?
Kerrigan.
Yes.
There was this statue of Sarah Kerrigan, and she looked like a cross between like Species and Predator chick. It was awesome. Her eyes were glowing. It was cool.
The Queen of Blades statue, and it was cool. They had little lights in their eyes, and they had the wings and stuff, and it was a big, larger than life statue. It was
Sarah Kerrigan in StarCraft 2 in the cinematic cutscenes. I told you she's #1 for me. I like redheads. He was there.
Oh, it's awesome.
Yeah. Very happy about that.
I just the whole time I saw it, I meant to send you a picture, text you a picture, but it just never came out good enough quality. I'm like, this is not good enough. Well, it wasn't good enough. It wasn't good enough. I wanted the detail so you could see it. Okay, fine, I'll text it to you right now. I've got it. I'm seriously gonna send you. I'm seriously
he could
gonna
have, but I know he
send you the
didn't take a
picture.
picture from the back because the detail from the back you would have liked too. Power. You know,
Since you're a backside man, you know.
I'm not a backside man. You have distinctly you've misjudged me.
I'm so sorry, but you would have loved it, dude. It was so awesome. Some of the security guys were taking pictures with it, and they weren't even gamers. They were just taking pictures to make fun of it. I'm like, I'm so glad that if Power were here to see this, he would probably beat somebody up right now.
Yeah, I would.
You're like, don't you do that to my woman? Don't you make fun of her?
When you're 6'5", 250, you can pretty much tell people what you want, and they'll probably do it.
Don't
like,
worry,
get out of here, Rent-A-Cop.
Yeah, they were all fat right
Hey, don't you have a
really
donut
fat.
shop to raid, dude? Don't you have a donut shop to raid?
It was
Really?
pretty funny. But the security guys were nice. They were so bored. It was a shame.
Yeah.
Because nobody's gonna do anything like that crazy at a gaming
No.
conference or whatever you want to call it.
They didn't even have metal detectors, bro. It was awesome.
No, they just looked at us, made sure we had our bracelets, and went in, let us go in. It was nice and lax. The only time anybody in our group had a problem was when he tried to take a smart water bottle in a branded bottle. It was basically because Dr. Pepper booth was there, so they made him like, nope, you can't take that in. Although both Courage and I walked by with our own generic water bottles out, hanging on our hands, walked right by them, and they're like, and then they stopped him.
I had an Nalgene bottle, you know, and they were like, oh, that's cool.
And so he just downed
Okay.
a liter of smart water right in front of him. He's like, okay, I'm going in now. Poor guy.
The unfortunate thing, poor guy, because he's trying to watch StarCraft. We got good seats, and he had to go to the bathroom like 3 times during the middle of the whole thing.
Yeah, go with some friends, because if you don't get a reserved seat and you don't go with friends, you're going to lose your seat the second you stand up. There weren't enough seats, which is fine in space and stuff and safety.
It was so nuts. It was more, dude. It was more nuts trying to get a seat at League of Legends than it was StarCraft 2, because they had the teleprompt like in front of the actual like gaming test area too. So there were a lot of people just hanging out in the aisle, sitting on the floor, rather than going all the way there because they had a better screen. But League of Legends was nuts, man. You couldn't leave your seat for 2 seconds
intense.
without somebody popping in there.
Kind of glad I watched it on online.
That's one of the things, because right now, if you look at price-wise and things, being there is an experience, and it's a blast, and it's a lot of fun to cheer with everybody. Really, if you compare the price, it makes sense for you to either do it by yourself at your home, like buy the pass, or even watch for free at home, or go to a Barcraft where you can be with your friends and somebody else.
Barcraft? Okay.
Barcraft is what they call, people go, sports bars. People have been renting sports bars out to watch pro StarCraft.
What?
And so they go to a bar and they have StarCraft on the big screen and a bunch of people are watching it.
That's awesome.
Cool. And it's usually when the bars are the most packed, oddly enough, because they get all the gamers there and they all buy food, and so bars really like it. Yeah.
Gamers drink and buy a lot of food.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And so a Barcraft might be the best way to go if you want to experience with people watching it. It besides being with your friends, being with a bunch of other people, and maybe getting to test the new StarCraft or seeing some other things around, there are very few booths.
Well, that was worth it.
There's not a whole lot of benefit for actually going to MLG. I would go again. I had a lot of fun. But if you just look at it complete logically and just reason it out.
Also seeing the Korean players for the very first time in public, I mean, that was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
A lot of fun.
Make some noise!
I know they... Poor guys, terrible English. They memorize like one line. Hi, my name is Bisu. And you're like, yeah! One of them's like, I would dominate, and the other one does a backflip, and... Yeah, and then the other one's like literally like this. Make some noise!
Was there a lot of trash talking?
Not so much. Not a whole lot. It was unfortunate. They didn't give him much opportunity. There was one time with Hotshot GG.
Polite.
Well, there was
they
one
were
time
very polite.
with Hotshot GG and somebody from Dignitas, I believe.
I saw that.
Yeah, where they were like, good luck or whatever, something like. Yeah, he said good luck because the guy was like, you want to say anything to Hotshot GG? And he was like, oh, good luck. And then Hotshot's like, good luck. He just threw it back at him kind of as a little trash talky thing. But there really wasn't, it might be fun to do that MMA boxing thing where you have the teams stand in front of each other and they just shout.
I think it would make it more interesting.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, Totally.
You were like,
stare each other
you'd
down.
be like, yeah, TSM sucks. They've been the worst. I mean, they've been second place to us a bunch of times. It's not like we can't beat them again.
Yeah.
Hotshot's cocky enough to say it. He's just not.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
I mean, there's a lot of guys I think that'd be cocky enough to say something like that, but
I gotta say that
I think there were two
players physically looked much cleaner and better than the League of Legends players. League of Legends players need to clean themselves up, honestly.
Yeah,
really?
dude, they look like they rolled out of the
trashy.
hotel bed and they didn't take a shower from the night before,
they
like scruff, and no, they didn't. And they wore a hoodie that they had just got that morning from their sponsors. They were saving it. But they literally looked like they were on a binge all weekend. But you know what I mean, though. They did look trashy.
But they didn't look as good.
It's true.
Because it's just the discipline. I don't know, the way the Koreans, the discipline the Koreans have specifically brought to StarCraft and StarCraft 2.
Yeah.
There's a lot of physical exercise too, because they need to make sure that I didn't see a fat pro gamer anywhere there in the StarCraft side. I just didn't see it. I just thought that was really interesting. Absolutely. I saw plenty of slightly overweight spectators, but the pro gamers were all very healthy, particularly on the StarCraft side. And I just thought that was interesting.
Only a couple? There were lots of overweight people there.
I was trying to be nice.
Okay.
Okay? There were some fatties.
Yeah.
Not me. Not me, baby.
Not you.
Nope.
Not gonna happen.
Bottom line, MLG is a lot of fun. I really enjoyed it. There'd be some things that they can tweak, maybe some more organization and stuff.
There's definitely a lot of allure to going, but like I said, for me it's like my first time, and this is kind of a horrible comparison because it's NASCAR. I know what you'll say, turning left, a bunch of beer, whatever. But my first time at NASCAR, though, seriously, there was music going on, there were parties all over the place, people were barbecuing everywhere. Like, not that would happen on the inside of MLG, but I would like to see more partying going on. That's all I'm saying. There could have been more music.
That could be something that MLG could work on in the future. I mean,
absolutely.
Have some
come
interesting stuff going on.
Well, yeah, dude, make some more concessions, make some more. Food. I don't know. Yeah, totally.
Oh, yeah, they had no food.
They should have been. Yeah, they should have been like baking pizza there or something, or handing out hot dogs or you know what I mean, something.
And they should name all the stuff after characters in the games. Duh. Simple moneymaker.
Awesome. Dude, seriously, what would
making it
rain? League of Legends, the Nautilus. What would the Nautilus be? Would it be? I imagine like some massive burger or a sub.
I was thinking a sub sandwich would be pretty funny because he goes on a sub.
Exactly.
Under Nautilus.
That would be cool.
Or maybe like a scone that's in the shape of a Nautilus.
No.
I was thinking more of like a drink. I think like a weird suicide drink could be Nautilus. I mean, he goes deep all the time into towers. I think that's kind of funny. Yeah. It'd be a good drink. It'd be a suicide drink that they call like the depth charge or something. Nautilus's depth charge. Yeah, boom. That's why I'm in advertising.
That's a good idea. We need to make a restaurant now.
The Kerrigan hot dog.
We should make a mobile restaurant that goes to all these things and just name stuff after. It'd be simple.
Shh, don't tell our secret. Okay, don't tell our secret.
Just cut the tape.